Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today in this video we're going to be discussing why you keep attracting the wrong man. Okay, so let me start by saying this, that if you are attracting the same type of guy over and over and over again, that type of guy that's emotionally unavailable, that type of guy that's inconsistent with his words and his actions, his words and his actions are not matching, that type of guy that's just so mentally draining, the type of guy that keeps lying and deceiving you, it's not a coincidence that that's happening. It just may be a reflection of who you are. Maybe God is trying to show you something about yourself. You need to sit and think about that carefully, okay? As painful as it is to admit, you do need to start admitting that, and admitting that starts by you self-reflecting, okay? So here's the thing. You attract, this is what I believe, you attract what you tolerate. And I believe that you tolerate what you think you deserve. You may not agree with me, but after just seeing everything that's going on in the world, seeing everything that's going on, in these social media platforms, I'm starting to believe that. Okay, and if you want to have a conversation about that, you can go in the comment section and we can talk further about this. But listen carefully, though, to what I have to say, ladies. I believe that a lot of you ladies are chasing the wrong things. You're chasing validation, and that is not a healthy thing. You see, I believe that validation, like male validation to a woman, I believe that God created that. That is what I truly believe. And there's a reason why. It's just like the male gaze. God created that for men to want the women, for men to go after the women, for men to, that's why God made women beautiful. Okay? God made women beautiful so that the men can look at her and say, ooh, this beautiful thing, let me go get it. So male validation in and of itself is not a negative thing. It is needed. However, the problem is when you women start chasing after that. And when you start chasing after the male validation that should happen naturally, you start ignoring red flags. You start seeing, you may meet a guy that's very toxic, too toxic for you, but you deem that as, oh, we have chemistry. So you start making excuses for the wrong type of guy that you choose to entertain, simply because that guy is giving you validation. Ladies, you have to watch that, okay? When you start to crave that male validation and you start to do some really unhealthy things in order to get that male validation, that's when you are putting yourself at risk for continuing to attract the wrong man for you. And then sometimes some of these women come out here in these YouTube streets and other social media platforms saying they're no good men are trash, men are this. No, ma'am. It's the type of guy that you have chosen to deal with. That's why I believe that you tolerate what you deserve, what you think you deserve. Okay, moving along. You see, when the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. This is what the Bible means. And that can be found in Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7. This is what that verse is talking about. Whatever is your self-worth is what is being reflected. So your standards, whatever standards you have for yourself, is being reflected as your self-worth. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So that's why it's important, when you hear people saying, oh, you have to do inner work. That's why it's so important for you to do inner work. It's so important for you to stop, pause for some time, and self-reflect. When you say, oh, I'm going on a healing journey, your healing journey is not for you to travel and have fun. Your healing journey is for you to actually pause and self-reflect. And meet up and engage with people who you trust their true judgment and their true perception of your character, and they can give you their honest, their unbiased opinion of who you really are. You see how that goes? So yes, it is important that you do self-reflect, but a lot of you women are not doing that because you believe in your mind that you are fine the way you are perfect, you don't have any flaws, you don't need to change anything about you, and that a man should take you the way you are. Well, the way you are is exactly the type of guy that keeps showing up in your life, and then you keep saying there are no good men out there, but there are good men. I think that it's about time that you ladies just some of you begin to just change the way you look at things, change the way you see men. But you can't change the way you see men if you don't stop and start self-reflecting. Otherwise, you will continue to attract those same type of men. Okay? You can't be praying for, oh Lord, send me a good man, and you're still entertaining those type of men that are toxic for you. If you keep entertaining toxic men, maybe you have got some unhealed trauma, unhealed wounds that you haven't healed yet, and you need to heal those. Not everyone needs therapy. That's what I believe. But some of you ladies need therapy. Some of you ladies need to get a real good therapist that would set you straight, that will hold you accountable and make you take responsibility for your character, your attitude, your personality that's preventing you from getting the type of guy that you say you want. You know, and I understand it's very difficult for a lot of women to take accountability because it makes us open up emotionally in a way that we really don't want to. Because taking accountability means that there are some things that we do need to change. And most of us don't want to change because change requires work. And most of us are lazy. We don't want to do the work because it's hard. Yes, it is hard. But, you know, everything is hard in life. Staying the way you are and attracting toxic guys is hard. Doing the inner work to help yourself change for the better so you can start attracting better men is hard. Which hard are you going to do? But laziness will not allow. Laziness will not allow some of you ladies to reflect on what's going on within you and be true to yourself and tell the truth and then start making those changes. But just, you know, a lot of you are lazy. You don't want to do that kind of work to change. And a lot of you, pride will not even allow you either. You're so, you know, your pride is just so big. Your ego is just so out there. You believe it's everybody else's fault, not your fault. You are the way you are because of somebody else. You see, these are the things. And again, when you see certain types of behaviors in a man, you want to get with him because it's so familiar to you. You recognize those dangerous behaviors. And because you're so afraid to try something new that would actually be beneficial to you, you choose that toxicity instead. And then you start blaming them instead of blaming your own self, taking that accountability. These are the issues, ladies. So here, if you want to, you know, this is the thing. When you begin to heal, when you get the right help that you need and you start to heal, your vibrational standpoint begins to change, which means the standpoint which you attract certain men, that begins to change. Therefore, the type of man that you attract in your life begins to change for the better. You begin to see more quality men, the type of men that, you know, that are good for you. You begin to see that. But make sure you are healed enough to accept those type of good men. Because remember now, if you haven't healed and by some divine chance, a good man, steps into your life, if you're not healed, you would drive him away because you wouldn't know how to handle that good type of man. These are the things that you ladies need to sit with and think about and change within you. This channel is for women. So that's why I'm always talking about women. And I get it. Some of you are in my comment section saying, oh, why am I always blaming women? I'm not blaming women. I'm just telling women that you can't get any better if you don't take accountability, which is a true and accurate statement. But if that offends you, then you're going to see it as blame. I don't necessarily talk about men because this channel is not for men. This channel is for women. Women, you have a part to play in the things that are happening in your life. Everything is not a man's fault. So because you have a part to play, my channel is speaking to that part that you have to play. Change it up. I give you ladies ways in which you can change things up. I give you suggestions. I also offer one-on-one coaching. You can check in the comment section and email me directly. So these are the things. That's the reason why I'm usually just talking about women. Because women, if you don't change the part that you have to play in your life, then you can't receive better from the Lord. And it almost seem like the prayers you pray for a good, real man just keeps bouncing off the walls. I'm praying, but nothing is happening. Ladies, if you're tired of attracting chaos and you know that you are ready for clarity, you got to heal. Stop chasing, chemistry. Stop chasing vibes. Stop chasing toxicity and start chasing wholeness in a man. You need to be whole in order to get wholeness in a man. Okay? Drop down in the comment section and let me know what you think about this topic. Also, ladies, if you are coachable, if you are teachable, and you are ready to heal, email me. Email me the word teachable at marriagemindfulness@gmail.com and I will respond right back to you. I will see you all in the next video. Bye.